Good afternoon, and welcome to More Than Meets the Eye. I'm Yost Blind Prime, and for today we will be talking about the G.I. Joe Classified Viper Officer and Viper Soldiers 3-pack, which I initially thought was an Amazon exclusive, but some people in my comments section have informed me that it is not an Amazon exclusive, so my bad on that one. I guess it's just because since I'm blind, I do all my shopping on Amazon. It isn't like I can go do toy hunts like I used to, which honestly, I miss the toy hunt. I really do miss the toy hunt. Getting in a vehicle and driving, hours out of the way to go and check out the Walmart or the Target in the middle of the BFE. And it's, yeah, it is kind of annoying that, I have to rely on Amazon. But that also leads to problems of I make assumptions, and, I'm only human. We make assumptions all the time. And, well, this time my assumption was wrong. So, my bad. It is not an Amazon exclusive. You can most likely pick it up at GameStop, for all I know. Which, I haven't set foot in a GameStop in over a year. But, last time I did that, it was looking for Transformers, and then discovering they didn't have any Transformers at the GameStop. And I was like, that's sad. I wanted a Transformer. Anyway, so, we've got the Viper Officer and Viper Soldiers 3-pack to talk about today. And, I'm going to be as honest as I can with this. This is going to be, I'm a little bit biased. I'll be straight with that. But remember, this is More Than Meets the Eye. It's a blind guy reviewing an action figure, so I will not be discussing color. I will not be discussing paint. I will not be discussing how it looks. Quotations. I will just be discussing the feel of the figure, the articulation of the figure, and the sculpt of the figure, and also some of its accessories and my overall thoughts of the figure. And, yeah. So, from what I understand, the Viper Officer and Soldiers... Let me find... Who are you? No, you are both bats. Where is the... here he is, the Officer. Let me make sure this is the Officer. And feel his gun. I think this is the Officer. Yes, it is. Okay, so I had to get a friend. And this is what I'm going to just come out of the gate getting mad at this set, all right? This set, I had a lot of things promised to me, and we're just going to talk about the first thing that I'm upset about this set, which is this. Okay, this giant, long box. This box that's almost a foot long is supposed to be a foot locker. And they're like, oh, the Hasbro people promised us a foot locker. You get this cute little foot locker you could put... Kream, you just took down the bat. Why? Why did you take down the bat? So anyway, the people at... No, don't show your butt to the... Get your tail down. Nobody wants to see that. Nobody wants to see that. Alright. They just promised us a Foot Locker, and I guess, we just knock that off. There. Now you can lay down, okay? I guess, they... As a sighted person, you would look at it and go, well, that ain't no Foot Locker I've ever seen. That thing's way too long. As a blind person, all I heard was Foot Locker. They never described the length of this box. This box is not a box for a Foot Locker. Heck, this box doesn't even work as a Foot Locker for the larger... Kream, don't you attack my ambulance over there. Good. Kream, stop it. Stop it, you crazy cat. No, your tail's just taking everything out. Kream. Oh my God, you're so disruptive today. Stop. How? Is there anything left standing? There's one thing left standing today. It's the Officer. The Officer has managed to dodge all of your attacks. Your attacks were not super effective against the Officer. Let me pick up the bats again. I gotta pick everything back up. Anyway, his distractions aside, this box is not a Foot Locker, and this box is something that really upset me about the entire set. Out of the gate, out of the box. Like, the first thing I came across was this box, and I opened it up and took everything out. Like, well, I guess there's a Foot Locker folded up in here, like they do with the Magic the Gathering boxes back in the day. I guess they just folded up a box, and then you can unfold it and, tape it as you will if you want to tape it. And there you go. You got yourself a nice little box to keep your accessories in. This isn't a Foot Locker. This isn't a GD Foot Locker at all. This is way too long. This doesn't look good in any of my dioramas. This is a lie. This Foot Locker is a lie. And I'm upset at the G.I. Joe Classified team for lying to a blind person like that. If you're going to describe something, then describe it appropriately. Use the appropriate words to explain what the item is. Don't just go, look, the image is worth 1,000 words and then shut the hell up. Your job is to sell the product, which means you're also supposed to explain to us what the product actually is. And I am so annoyed and just disheartened by this. It's like, I get what Viper Island's talking about with the lies. That is a piece of shit. And I'll say it right now. That is just a crappy thing. And I really dislike the fact that they shamboozed us on that. It was a scam. That Foot Locker's straight up a scam. And I know it's a stupid cardboard Foot Locker. I understand. But what I'm getting at is that I was really excited to have a 1/12 scale Foot Locker in the scale of the G.I. Joe Classified to help build my Lego Foot Lockers off of. Something that would give me an idea of the correct sizes to use. A starting point, if you will. A blueprint for what I could do. But I didn't get that, and that was upsetting. As a person who's trying to build 1/12 scale furniture out of Lego, it is upsetting that I didn't get the blueprint I was hoping I would receive. Instead, I got something that is so unrightfully sized that it just doesn't work. It doesn't work at all, and that's just a shame. Okay, I've blathered on about the stupid box more than I should have. Let's talk about this figure. So we'll discuss accessories first. We'll talk about the guns that the bats are holding, because the bats each are holding the same gun. And I figured, since this set came with 2 of the same exact gun, I would give it to the bats, because another problem with this set is that even though it comes with 3 figures, the box art shows 5, and it comes with 5 weapons, and there's no weapon storage on any of these figures. So this first weapon here is, it's pretty cool. The double weapon, because there's 2 exact copies of it. It's a nice sized weapon. It's pretty long. It seems like a more aggressive style assault rifle. It reminds me a lot with its feel of the assault rifle from the original Halo Combat Evolved game. And I have to say, other than the scope thingy at the top, or this weird little bit, it would be that gun if it had a little cut where you could see how much ammo was left in the gun towards the end. This gun is it's a nice gun. I like it. I like the handle in the front. It's a cool gun. I like both of them. And this thing, it came with 2 of them, and that's really cool. But what's not really cool is the fact that the box art shows 5 Vipers. And how are you supposed to get 5 Vipers? Are you supposed to buy the Cobra Island Viper? Like, that's ever going to happen. I'm sorry. That figure it's a myth. The Cobra Island Viper is a myth. It doesn't exist. Because I know I've never witnessed it in the wild. I've not even seen it for sale on Amazon. So it's just that's a myth figure. It doesn't exist in my opinion. And it's just why? Anyway, that's the bats, and I just knocked everything over there. I'll just leave it. I just won't mess with it. Let's talk about the Viper Officer. The goggles first, because everybody wants to know about the goggles. I mean, I wanted to know about the goggles. The goggles do not do anything but sit on the crest of the head, on the crest of the helmet. They do not have enough stretch to actually pull over the top of the helmet to go over the visor of the Viper Officer. I mean, the goggles on top of visor just doesn't make any sense to me. Anyway, I guess I was thinking something completely different when they talked about goggles. And once again, this is on me for making assumptions based on what I heard, whereas I should have gotten somebody with vision to actually tell me everything that was going on in that video, because it's obvious I missed a lot because these guys suck at explaining things. They just totally fail at explaining stuff, or I just totally fail at listening, which honestly, I'm gonna go ahead and say it's more on them failing to explain stuff and less on me failing to listen, because that's all I do is listen these days. It gets annoying when you have to listen to everybody. But this is the goggles are really neat. They have nice strap sculpt. They have really cool goggle sculpt on the front. They got little knobs and stuff. It feels like some goggles that were put together with actual screws and things like that. That's really neat. You have to use sticky tack to hold them onto the top of the helmet because they don't stay there automatically. That's another negative I have for this set. with everything else in G.I. Joe so far, G.I. Joe Classified, I have not really needed to use sticky tack to hold things on. The exception is the stupid bow for Storm Shadow. I had to use some sticky tack to hold it on, and the occasional hat. But I didn't really need to use sticky tack to hold the hats on, because when I dropped the figure, the hat wouldn't fall off. I just used sticky tack because I didn't want the cats to knock the hat off, and I wanted to ensure the hat stayed on, so I used a little sticky tack. This, you have to use sticky tack or else these goggles are never staying on your figure. And that is a step back in quality right there, G.I. Joe Classified. That is a step back in quality. I'm just going to say that outright. And you've already seen my short, or I hope you've already seen the short video I did on the fact that you can't remove the helmets of these guys, which is just why can't you remove the helmets? One of the best part about army builders is the ability to remove parts of their armor. You know, you could have given us removable helmets. Yeah, it isn't like you don't have the head sculpts available. You totally have the head sculpts available. But I don't know why you didn't give us the, removable helmet. I just don't understand that. He is holding, and we're getting down here to the gun, he's holding the medium length gun, because there is a short Uzi, there is a long sort of sniper rifle kind of thing, and then there's this medium assault rifle that reminds me a lot of the battle rifle from the second Halo game. It's smaller, it's sleeker, it's got a collapsible stock because the stock is hollow. You can get spinning around over there. The stock is a hollow bit, so, it's really neat. I really like this battle rifle, and it reminds me a lot of the battle rifle from Halo 2. And you can put the figure holding it, and it's got a cool scope that's actually high enough up where you can get the figure to look Cream. You can get the You can get the figure to look through the scope. And that's pretty cool. I appreciate that. And I like this gun. I like the gun sculpt. The gun sculpt is pretty nice. And it also has a removable ammo. All these gun sculpts have removable ammo, and that's kind of neat. I guess we'll talk about the backpack, because the backpack is the same for all figures. Let me just go ahead and remove it. And another upsetting thing about my feelings on this is this backpack. This backpack is... It's just a heavy chunk of plastic that's going to, weigh down the back of your action figure. There's nothing about this backpack that adds to anything on the action figure, except looks. There's no sort of little tabs on the side where you can store extra weapons. These things came with 5 weapons, but they came with only the ability to hold 3 of them, because there's 3 guys. None of their backpacks have weapon storage. None of their backpacks have any sort of storage at all. You can't even store ammo packs in their backpacks. These are the worst backpacks I've seen in G.I. Joe Classified, aside from that one backpack that came from... Oh, I can't remember his name. There's another backpack that's also a crap backpack. Let me see if it's up here. Let's see. Crap backpack, are you up here? Are you up here, crap backpack? You are! Look! Here's another crap backpack. Okay, I forgot whose backpack this is, but this is another crap backpack. All it is a backpack. That's it. It doesn't... You can't put anything on the sides of it. You can't have any weapon storage on it or anything like that. It's just a bland backpack. But benefits of this older backpack opposed to the Viper Island the Cobra Viper backpack is this other backpack is a lot lighter than the Cobra Viper backpack. This Cobra Viper backpack is heavy in comparison. And it's a shame. I wish that these things could just open up and give us some more stuff to them, but they don't. They're just hunks of plastic that you put on the backs of the action figures, and they have no sort of extra play value. It's a shame. It's a shame. Now we'll talk about the sculpt work on the backpack, because I do need to discuss that. And the sculpt work on it is quite excellent. I know I just talk bad about this, but you can't talk bad about the sculpt work. Like, this rope here is excellently done. You got some really full pouches on either side. You've got a bunch of full pouches on the back. There's even a Cobra emblem actually stenciled in or sculpted into this backpack, which is quite excellent. I do enjoy me some sculpted in emblems. I love me a sculpted in emblem. As a person who can never see the emblems, the sculpts really help. Now, the negative to this backpack, one of the bigger negatives, because I've already explained many negatives, I mean, this is becoming a very negative episode for sure, is that there's nothing to differentiate this backpack from the soldiers' backpacks. So if you don't get a sighted person to actually point, to pass you the correct backpack for the correct action figure, you're not supposed to know. And that's another, a shame thing. And this is an officer. He should have different gear, not differently colored gear. Okay? And let's discuss the missing accessory on this. Well, we got one more accessory to talk about on the officer. Two actually. We got this scarf. The scarf is the same for all the figures, like the backpack and the goggles is the same for all the figures. So I'm just not going to talk about the scarves or backpacks or goggles. Anybody else? This scarf is it's okay. It's made of some stiff plastic though, which makes it a little difficult, and it also has a break in the back, so you could just rip it off their neck or something. Unlike Sergeant Stalker's uh, scarf, which we will talk about. Sergeant Stalker's scarf is a lot better than the Viper scarf. I'll let you know that one straight up out of the gate. And we're definitely going to be talking about Sergeant Stalker next, because Sergeant Stalker is one of my favorite GI Joes. You know, everybody has that Joe that was their guy when they were playing with him when you were a kid, and mine was Sergeant Stalker. He was my Joe. He was my guy. He went on all the adventures. So I'm cool. I'm happy to have a Sergeant Stalker. But yeah, this sculpt work for this scarf is okay, but it's just the little annoying bits about it are that they only sculpted the top of it. They didn't sculpt the bottom, and it's not made out of a very flexible plastic. It's made out of a very hard plastic, and honestly, this break in the back makes it kind of cheap. I get that you can remove this and put it back on without removing the head, but when you have so many other accessories that require the removable of the head, why did you do this one differently than the others? I don't understand why this one is different than all the others. It could be that all this is based off of the Cobra Viper from the Cobra Island, exclusive from Target, and that Cobra Viper may have just been completely different. Then again, it was an earlier figure, so we're getting an earlier figure body with all of its problems. And more solutions have come down the line, but this guy is old in the sense of his body sculpt. And yeah, there's finally. Oh wait, did we talk about the pistol? I went all the way over there to talk about the pistol. The pistol he has is a cool pistol. It's a different pistol than the get the pistol out of there. All right, it's a better gun than the pistols that come with the soldiers, and it also can have blast effects on the end of it, unlike the pistols that come with the soldiers. But this is a nice little 45 caliber, or maybe something different. I don't know enough about guns to tell you exactly what it is, but it does kind of feel like I remember a Desert Eagle looking. So there's that. We can put that in there, just nice and easy. You slide that in, perfect. And yeah, it's a decent gun. And I don't like how the gun holster rides up so much that it gets in between the joints of the thigh and the butt area, the hip. It's just resting on that hip thigh joint area instead of around the thigh, because this thigh's got some weird sculpt work in it. Makes it a little thicker than normal and makes it difficult for that holster to actually sit there. This guy's got a lot of little problems. You could put that holster down here on his boot. You could have given him a gun boot holster, but instead you put it up here on his thigh area, and it doesn't even really fit there. It's just not built for this thigh. They could have given it a better, a holster with a wider strap, maybe. That would have worked better, or resculpted the thigh to handle a holster. I don't know. Anyway, now that we've talked about those things, let's talk about the one accessory that this officer is missing, which pissed me off. Completely, utterly pissed me off and turned me off on this entire set. There is no officer insignia on his arm. There's no piece of plastic. They did this with the Cobra Trooper from the Cobra Island, and they did this with the Cobra Officer. They gave us little insignias that ride up on their arm to let you know what they are. Okay? All the Cobra officers should have a little insignia on their arm that's a little extra piece that will tell you that this is an officer. All right? This guy doesn't have it. He doesn't have it at all. And that's upsetting. How am I supposed to know which one is the officer and which one isn't the officer? That you can't, unless you have eyes that you can see colors. I've never had this problem before with G.I. Joe, because the officers have always had the weird little tabby thing on their arm, or they've been able, you can tell they're different by other means. This guy is not different at all from the other Vipers, and that's just a shame. And it is just a shame. So going on further, he's got some, we'll talk about his sculpt work. He's got some grenades sculpted onto his armor chest area. He's got some extra armor bits. I do enjoy the sculpt work. When it comes to sculpting and actually molding things into these G.I. Joes, it's nice to see that at least it doesn't even, G.I. Joe Classified still does that really well. And that's really nice. I do like the ratcheted shoulder joints. But they don't raise up that far because of this armor he's got on his body. Look at that. You can only raise the arm that far up. That is a shame. He's like he's like that guy from A Christmas Story. I can't put my arms down. Except he can't put his arms up. I can't put my arms up. He gets arrested by Joe, so they're like, reach for the sky. He's like, I can't reach for the sky. I can't put my arms up. Don't shoot me. Okay, so we're gonna get back down here to his the rest of his body. The arms are decently sculpted. You can feel the fabric and stuff, little armor bits melded in there from his armor suit. He's got this awesome gauntlet that goes all the way down his wrist, but it's also not really that awesome because it does restrict the hand mobility, and that's a shame. The wrist guard isn't that flexible. You can apparently remove it. If you remove the hand, you can slide this off, but it's not too flexible. It doesn't move around on the figure at all. It's just solid and it's there. I mean, the sculpt is nice though. And I do think that if they had included some fisticuffs, then you could have used the point of this thing as kind of a weapon, because the fisticuff would have gone down just below the edge of this gauntlet, this little bracer on his wrist. And then you would have had a knife point, fisticuff with a knife on top. And it's like, unlike Wolverine, who's got 3 knives, this guy's just got one fat knife. Make the joke all the time. This is a knife. That's not a knife. Come down here to his legs. We've got some pockets on the front of his thighs, and these pockets are what stops the holster from actually being able to do its job. I don't know why there's pocket sculpt there when there could have been pocket sculpt somewhere else. And also, furthermore, there's more pocket sculpt on the side of the foot, on the side of the thigh. So on the front of the thigh and the side of the thigh. And these 2 pocket sculpts do make it impossible for this holster to fit anywhere else but laying on top of all of that. They could have given us a holster inside of the armor like they did with the Cobra Trooper and the Cobra Infantry and the Cobra Officer, but they didn't. They wanted to do the leg holster, even though the leg doesn't work for a leg holster. This is just amazing. All right, this is the first G.I. Joe classified figure I've just had nothing but problems with. I mean, next to the Scarlet that came with the Snake Eyes wave. But we already understood the Snake Eyes wave was going to be a POS. So I went in there expecting problems. I thought this was going to be excellent. I went in here expecting wonders and amazingness, like a culmination of everything that we've seen from G.I. Joe so far. It's all going to be in one box. Ah, cool. No, not cool at all. So further down, going down from the thigh, we've got this knee that's got a really nice armor sculpt for armored knee pads. I really like that armor sculpt. We come here to the leg, and the boot's got that nice thing where the boot can move around on the leg, but it doesn't show any muscle tone or muscle textures on the back of the boot. So you don't have that same problem that I pointed out with Vulcan or with Morph, where the back of the foot, those muscles that go down the back of your leg and connect to your heel, they were showing through the boot on those figures. So when you move the boot in any direction, those muscles would be cut, and that made it bad for me. I didn't like that. You had to have everything straight in order for the muscles to line up. But they did a nice boot sculpt here. Hi, Kream. Yes, I'm doing a video, Kream. I'm doing a video, Kream. Can't you just lay down and sleep? Can't you just lay down and sleep for a minute? Oh my God, you're so dirty. This cat goes outside and rolls in dirt. He's a dog. He digs himself holes and rolls in it. Anyway, so I really appreciate this boot sculpt. Kream, no! Don't you attack the ambulance. That is my ambulance. That's not your ambulance. Alright, so the boot sculpt is quite excellent. It goes all the way up to the knee and allows for the boot cut, for the boot to spin. Kream, no, stop it. Why are you so destructive? He wants something from me, I swear. He wants to be let out. Anyway, this boot is quite excellent. It's got the nice sculpt that goes all the way up to the knee. You got some cool sculpt texture work going down the front of the boot. You got the back where it feels like it zips up or something. A nice little thing, a little bump that goes all the way down the back of the boot, like it zips up. That's cool. I like that. And then finally, on the underside of the boot, well, actually on the top of the boot, we've got those wrinkles that develop in leather boots when they've been used for a long time and been broken in. So he's got all those wrinkles right there at the top of the foot. I really appreciate that. I wish that the Vulcan and the Morph sculpts had some wrinkles in the tops of theirs to showcase use. And finally, on the underside of the foot, we've got boot tread. I love it. I love the fact that they sculpt the underside of the boots here. And 1 second. Kream. Oh my god, you can go out. You can go out. Go. Ah, sorry about that. So, that is the sculpt work for this guy. It isn't bad. It's quite excellent. All of the sculpted molding work on G.I. Joe Classified has always been excellent. I just question some decisions made, like putting a holster that's made for a leg that's much thinner than it on a leg that got all these pockets when you could have just put a holster on the rubberized armor. And yeah, let's move on to the next figure in this grouping. So we're going to set him off to the side, and we're going to grab the other Viper Soldier. Are you the Viper Soldier? No, you're the Bat. You're the Bat. Go back. Sit back down. Sit Bat down. Yeah. Gotta have those puns, man. Gotta have those puns. Here he is. Here's the other. Oh, what fell off? Oh, yeah. Your smoke effect and the silencer fell off your gun. We're just going to set the smoke effect and silencer off to the side and talk about this gun. Well, we'll talk about the silencer as well. It comes with a silencer. This set does come with one silencer, and the silencer can be used as a barrel extender or just a silencer, though no figure in this set has the holster that has a silencer holster on it, which means that this silencer will just be rolling around, and this is the first silencer that I have received in G.I. Joe Classified series that does not have a place to put it. And that's another thing that is upsetting me with this. These guys have so little weapon storage and so little storage on their bodies at all that it's just, why does it even exist? Why even have a silencer if you're not going to give us a place to put the silencer? You know, I just don't get that. Like, I get it with the blast effects, you know, they're blast effects, but the silencer, really, you couldn't have given us a place to put it? You know, other than that crappy footlocker. So here is the this guy holding the rifle. That's the longer version of the rifle, the battle rifle thing. This one's more like a long range rifle. It's got a bigger scope, meaning, you know, this thing's got some excellent range on it. And this guy is, of course, you know, I just decided he's the sniper of the team. Though these another negative about these weird things, gauntlets on the on his wrists, the bracers, is that you can't really do too much of a turn with this wrist. I mean, you can do a bit of one to get him holding the gun properly, but it's not as good as it should be. That's a shame. But this gun is a cool gun. It's got, once again, the ammo that can be removed, and it's got a nice sculpt to it. It's not too long. It's not as long as the ones the bats are holding, but this is the longest gun of the three guns that are, you know, that are unique. It also has a collapsible stock. I call they're the collapsible stock guns, and they're pretty cool. And the scope is really nice on it. It's pretty big. It's got the little knobs all over it. They did a good job sculpting this gun, and it's quite excellent sculpt work. The pistol for the soldiers is different, and here we go. We have a different type of holster here that holds this gun than the holster that held the other gun. This holster is actually built to be wider to handle all the pockets and stuff that is on this figure's leg, unlike the officer. Another good way to tell the difference between the officer and the other figures is that the officer's holster is different, and it doesn't fit right. Now, the guns they come with are the snub-nosed guns we got in the first real wave of G.I. Joe Classified. There's no way to put a blast effect in the end of this gun. It's some sort of little plasma pistol. That's all it is. But it can fit in that holster quite well. And it's the same type of holster that we've seen on other figures. And of course, the holster has got some nice design to it, and it's got some good sculpt work. You can even, you know, get the straps and where they connect together. I love that stuff. Of course, on the bottom of his boots, he has got sculpting. And that's really all the difference between him and that. So we're going to set him back down. Just live there. And let's grab the last one of the group. Here he is. And he is holding, honestly, my favorite weapon in the group. He is holding the Uzi. I'm just going to take the Uzi out of his hand. And what happened to the Uzi's cool blast effect? I hope that didn't get lost. It's like my favorite blast effect next to the smoke effect. The Uzi is really neat. It's got removable It